makes me want Halloween.
I know.
All right, everybody.
Specifically the silver shamrock.
Yeah. Let me bring up our music here, and we'll be good to go here in just a second. Bring that down just a hair so I don't blow everybody's earphones up. And we're here to start a show in 3, 2, 1. Greetings, programs, and we're back for another episode of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
And that lovely theme song, again, for our new theme song for our 10th anniversary is from Mr. Jeremy Branch himself. Go follow his YouTube page at Lucid Memory 4146. And Derek, how has your week been?
It's been a long week. So I had to go to Tallahassee for a couple of days around the middle of last week. And then I had to work Saturday night, and then I had to work yesterday afternoon. So luckily I earned myself a comp day. So I will
Nice.
be having a nice 3-day weekend starting on Friday. So unfortunately haven't had time to play much. Been trying to play. I actually started playing a new a Game Boy game that I had never heard of, called Survivor Kids. It's either Survivor Kids or Survival Kids, and it looks a lot like Link's Awakening, and
Really?
it feels like Zelda in a way too. But you're stranded on this island, and spoilers is going to be my next review, but yeah, you play as a kid that is stranded on a desert island, but you have to find supplies like weapons, food, water, so you don't starve or die of thirst, which is kind of crazy for a Game Boy game.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds kind of fun. It's kind of like that game Don't Starve or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm enjoying it so far.
Well, cool. Yeah,
Other than that, I haven't really had a chance to play much.
I haven't had a chance to play too much of anything this last week. Did I have a play? No, I haven't played anything this last week. Maybe a couple of games of Balatro. That's about it.
You do love you some Balatro.
I do. I love me some card games, man. That game's so good.
One of these days I'll try it. I'm kind of scared too.
You'll get stuck. You'll get stuck like me, and you'd be like you jonesing for it every day.
Yeah, probably.
And I want to let everybody know that as something really cool happened this last weekend, I got to be in a Rolling Stone article, everybody. And that was, check that off the bucket list. So that was a pretty awesome thing that happened over the weekend. I mean, it's not awesome why we were, I was in Rolling Stone, but at the same time, I was in Rolling Stone. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good read, and yeah, I know you shared it on your socials, so definitely go check that out. I am curious just because, like, one, I know print media is kind of a rare thing, or even like news articles really from like major sites. But did they do like was it over Zoom, or did they send you questions to answer, or how did that go?
No, we just did a three-way call, just over the phone,
Oh,
and
gotcha.
recorded it.
Okay.
And we had a good long
Old
interview. It
school. I
didn't
like it.
use very much of it, but just a couple of blurbs from me and Mikey about our old band Fall as well. And it was an article about Brad Arnold, Three Doors Down, and kind of the tragedies that has befallen that band. And a lot has happened to that band over the last 25 years or so. So it's a good read. It's a really good article. Go check it out. I shared it on my Facebook. I think I put it in the self promo tab on Discord. So if you want, go read the article. Check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're going to be celebrating the 40 years. That sounds so old. For 40 years of Legend of Zelda. But first, we're going to do a little bit of news, and then we will do our discussion. So I'm going to play this here. If you're ready to go into the news, there, Derek.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. And all this week's stories were provided to us by our good friends Armez Jackson, AxeBlade07, and Knife. And if you have a news story you'd like us to cover, send them to nerdcaveretro@gmail.com or our news article tab on the Discord. And the first one tonight is from, and all my tabs are now messed up for some reason. Here it is. It's from mynintendonews.com. Leaker claims, is that the right one? Hold on. Yeah, okay. Leaker claims Wii, Nintendo DS, and Sega CD coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Video game leaker Special Nick, I guess that's how you say it, who has been rather hit and miss at leaks, has stated that Wii, Nintendo DS, and Sega CD will be coming to the Nintendo Classics range for Nintendo Switch Online subscribers. Wii and Nintendo DS will naturally come, but Sega CD games would be a nice extension of the current Sega Mega Drive range currently available. And he says a Wii Remote peripheral for the Wii games won't need a Wii sensor bar to be used, which is handy if true. And that, I don't know, I'm kind of would be excited to play some Sega CD games on the Wii. The Switch, I mean. But, I mean, the Wii games will be cool, too. You know, it's probably the only way you're going to get to play Wii games is if they somehow make it where you can use the, you know, the, what do you call them? The Joy-Cons. I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah, and this was actually kind of a nice surprise. You know, like I figured DS games would make their way onto the Switch eventually. But Wii and Sega CD, that's a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Like with Sega CD, like obviously like Sonic CD is probably most known of those games, but I mean it'll give people a chance to, you know, that haven't ever played those games before to have the opportunity.
Yeah, and then you'll get stuff like Sewer Shark and things like that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then as far as the Wii goes, it's interesting to see how it's going to work without the sensor bar, because that was like a big thing for the Wii back then. So I'm excited for it. I think it's a nice addition.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Next up is this is from NintendoLife.com. Should Pokemon Red and Blue return for the 30th anniversary? With Pokemon's 30th anniversary celebrations underway, fans are quite rightly curious about how Nintendo and the Pokemon Company might acknowledge the games that started it all. Yes, without Pokemon Red and Blue and Green for Japan, there will be no Pokemon and no 30th anniversary celebrations. Almost 10 years ago, for the 20th anniversary, classic Pokemon games were added to the 3DS eShop. Users could buy these a la carte long before Nintendo started to lean on subscription models for its retro games. A new unsustained rumor from Pokemon leaker Riddler_Coup suggests that Nintendo might be gearing up to launch Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Switch for the 30th anniversary. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't do that. You know, like Fire Red and Leaf Green, for those that don't know, are like more modern remakes of the original Pokemon games.
Yeah.
They're really good. They had some nice bonus features as far as being able to catch Pokemon from other generations like that were around up to that point, in addition to going through kind of the original story mode. So I absolutely think that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company should do this.
Well, I mean, Pokemon is something that basically just prints money for Nintendo, so I don't see why they wouldn't do this. I mean, they could put that stuff out over and over again, and people are going to buy it.
Yeah. It's just crazy to think that like, there's so many crazy anniversaries that are happening for games this year. Like, obviously, like Zelda's turning 40, Sonic's turning 35, Pokemon's turning 30. I think Metroid's turning 40 as well.
Yep. Yeah. 86. So we got to do the Metroid anniversary special, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the next story is from TimeExtension.com. The father of Sega hardware, Hideki Sato, has passed away. The legendary hardware designer passed away. He was 75. Sato joined Sega in 1971 and was first involved with the company's arcade business. He would find fame within the firm's domestic hardware division, designing the SG-1000 Master System, Mega Drive, Genesis, Saturn, and Dreamcast. Out of the systems, the Genesis Mega Drive was the most commercially successful, shipping over 30 million units and establishing Sega as a force to be reckoned with in North America and Europe. So rest in peace, Mr. Hideki Sato. He's my dad's age. That's scary.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, like, Sega was a huge part of gaming in the 90s, because I don't think gaming would not be what it is if Sega had not been able to at least give Nintendo a run for their money. So he is a very, very important person or figure in the history of gaming. And it's also depressing too, because it's like all these recognizable people from when we were growing up are starting to pass away.
Yeah, I mean, they're all in
Like,
their
you know, if we
70s
found out, like,
now, you know, all those guys that were our age or younger when all this stuff was popping off, and we have everything we have today because of these guys, and now they're all, you know, getting up there and passing away, and it sucks, man. I hate being this age because everybody's starting to pass away, and I don't like it.
I mean, even today, you know, it was announced that Robert Duvall died.
I know, that's awful. Should go watch Lonesome Dove.
And I know
in his
he
honor.
was. Oh, that's such a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see. And our last story comes to us from TheVerge.com. Switch 2 pricing and next PlayStation release could be impacted by memory shortage. Go away, ad. Says continue reading with a Verge subscription.
Oh, well, I can read it if you. I don't know why it's popping up a subscription for you. But it says Sony and Nintendo are reportedly feeling squeezed by the RAM shortages as demand from AI data centers takes up an increasing share of memory chip production. In response to rising costs and dwindling chip supplies, Sony is considering pushing back the release of its next PlayStation console to 2028 or even 2029. And according to industry sources cited by Bloomberg, while Nintendo may increase the $450 price of its Switch 2 console this year, the delay would be a considerable divergence from Sony's usual release schedule, having launched a new console generation every 6 to 7 years since the original PlayStation debuted in '94. The current PlayStation 5 was released in November 2020. Has it been 6 years already since the PlayStation 5 came out? Jeez.
That sounds right.
It feels like it just came out.
Time flies by.
I don't like this, man.
I just wonder when is the market gonna burst as far as just everything getting so freaking expensive?
I don't know. It has to at some point. Nobody can afford anything anymore. You can't even afford to fart in public anymore without having to pay for it. So you have to have a subscription to fart out in public at any point. So I just
fart in public for $14.99 a month.
Do you want to upgrade your fart? Go to $21.99 per 3 months, and you'll get a discount on your public farting. How many times can we say farting in one episode?
you'll get an extra farting soundbite.
Let's see. It says the last thing here says memory shortages are also a blow for Nintendo, which pointedly did not increase the Switch 2 launch price last year despite Trump's sweeping tariffs. Bloomberg offers no specifics for how much the price might increase. We have reached out to Sony and Nintendo for comment, but no comments are made at the moment. I mean, I knew this was coming with all this AI crap going on, and they're using up all the RAM, and it's just, and I'm sick to death. And this is going to be my old man rant for tonight. I'm sick of AI being in everything. You know what we need AI for? it needs to like do my laundry, or when I go to Taco Bell, make my order in exactly the way I want it. Put AI robots in the kitchen making the burritos. I don't care. I don't want it to make art. I don't want it to make movies. I don't want it to do any of that crap. We're completely backwards right now. Why are we making AI do all the creative stuff, using up all the water, when all we wanted was for Siri to just do what we wanted her to do? And that's all we needed. We needed a good, smart AI on our phone to go, hey, Siri, do this, do that. I'm sorry if I'm setting everybody's phone off. No, Siri, I don't need to talk to you right now. But you know what I'm saying? Like, all I needed was something smart in my phone to go, hey, look up this certain thing on YouTube Music and play it for me, or create a playlist, or do this or do that. Do this number, find this number for me. That's what I need you to do. I don't need it to make movies for me. Yeah, Nick in the chat room, I don't want it to code my games. I don't want it to code my games either. It can make trees in the background, or make backgrounds, but don't make the games for us.
Yeah, and like that could honestly be a great podcast discussion.
Yeah,
because like I'm with you in the sense that I'm for AI with certain things, but when it comes to art, Siri, do my homework.
Exactly.
Okay, you might be onto something there, sir.
Yeah, but that
I think AI is good for technical things.
Yeah.
Like I use an AI generator for the podcast that I edit at work, so I could get the episode description, so I don't have to take notes while I'm editing the episodes.
Yeah.
So stuff like that I think is okay, but when it comes to artistic stuff, no.
I want it to cure cancer. I want it to find cancer, a cure for, I want it to solve world's problems like hunger. I don't need it to make movies for me. You know why? Because I can make a freaking movie. I don't need AI to make a movie for me, okay? Thanks. No thank you, Microsoft or OpenAI or ChatGPT, whatever. I don't need you to make a movie for me. I don't need you to make pictures for me. You know why? Because I can use Photoshop, because I'm a graphic designer. I don't need that crap. And when I go to Zoom or whatever, or Google, no, I don't want your assistant. Get it out of my face. I don't need it. Old man rant over. Thank you. Yeah. But we're going to go into our discussion here in a few minutes. But before we do that, Derek, we're going to save our this month of video game history till next week, if that's okay. Is that okay with you, Derek?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, before we go into our discussion for tonight, Derek, would you like to do our Patreon shout-outs?
As always, we like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out our newest patrons, Jam the Ottoman, a.k.a. Serum 11590, and Zachary Herring. Welcome once again to our Patreon family. Eek 7674, Omnislick. That sounds like a tag team, Eek and Omnislick. Alex the Alley Cat, Justin Nispel, Riley, the official NCR fact checker, Mr. Wally Phelps, Nick W., Eld the Zombie, Yup Fed, a.k.a. Knife, Raven, Daniel Salmon, a.k.a. Bethany Fox, our amazing Discord community manager, Mr. B-Res Coffee himself, Mike Eveland, Axblade07, Carlos Longoria, a.k.a. I am the Rampage, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Penny, Matthew Salmon, and now we introduce a man who knows his potato. Being accompanied by his manager, Sir Marcus Vontavious Alabama Chicken. The man known in Philadelphia as Marco Sandwich. Known around the country as the American Salad. Known in the sports world as Venus the Golf Instructor. The Dream Chaser. Violinist. Pianist, and overall enjoyer of music. He's a man of taste and culture. The undisputed Nerd Cave Retro heavyweight champion of the world, Joey Image. Joey. And last but not least,
Mama Diamond.
Donna Diamond. Thank you all so much for your continued contributions to keeping the lights on for us here at the Nerd Cave Retro Podcast. For the month of February, I know the month's flying by, but you still got some time.
I know we got to figure out what we're gonna do this month too for whatever our
Yes,
extra
we
episode is
do.
gonna be.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. Yeah, for the month of February, for 50 cents, you get your own custom RSS feed with zero, count them, zero ads. If you want uninterrupted podcast, and all it costs you for the month of February is 50 cents. You also get early access to our bonus episodes, which include commentary tracks for animated series, full-length movies. We've also done roundtable discussions. We've even done a Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope we do bring that back.
I know.
Sooner rather than later.
Think about that.
But yeah,
a lot.
I do too. But we'll figure out what we're gonna do for the month of February. But if you want to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, just head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, send us your social media info so we can give you a proper shout out.
And we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. If you haven't heard of it, it's a video game series created by Japanese game designer Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka. It's primarily developed and published by Nintendo, but some installments and re-releases have been outsourced to Flagship, Grezzo, and Tantalus Media. There's about 85 games in the series, and we're not going to cover them all because, you know, I'm an old school guy. I love me some Breath of the Wild. Love me some Breath of the Wild 2. But man, I got to go back to the beginning, man, dude. I loved the original Legend of Zelda. I love Link to the Past even more. But man, we'll talk about our memories. So Derek, what do you got to say about Legend of Zelda?
Well, first of all, it's surreal that this game is 40 years old, and for selfish reasons, I've liked the Zelda series because it's essentially the same age as me. Like, I'll turn 40 later this year, so I've always felt a connection with Zelda. If you
know
will.
What's weird? I had well, you could say it was a nightmare. I had a dream. I was trying to. We moved my whole retro game setup into a different room here last week before, and I had a dream that I was trying to hook everything up, and I accidentally broke my Legend of Zelda. Well, I had it. I had a copy complete in box, and I ended up ripping the box when I was trying to open it, and it was awful. Like, it was the worst dream ever.
Surprised I didn't hear you scream
I
from
know.
all the way over here in
I
Pensacola.
woke up, I was like, my Legend of Zelda complete in box, but then I remembered I don't have it complete in box. So that was just my brain messing with me.
The mind does like to play tricks on us.
Yes.
For longtime listeners of the show, you'll remember this story, but you know, I was introduced to video games, specifically Nintendo, when I was around 4 years of age. Both my parents had day jobs, so on days, like some days I would go over to my aunt's house and she would essentially babysit me during the day. She had a Nintendo Entertainment System, and she had two games for it. She had the Mario and Duck Hunt combo, and also Legend of Zelda. Now, I love Mario Brothers, and Duck Hunt was fun too, but I was immediately drawn to Zelda. And I think it had to do with the opening, just that dun 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 dun, dun. And then the classic, you know, overworld theme. And the game was, to me, fairly easy to pick up, even though I didn't complete it until I was an adult, but I don't know, there was just something about it that really kind of sparked like my love of like medieval type stuff.
Yeah.
That all started because of Zelda.
Yeah, and it kind of got me interested also at the time. I was like, what? I was 9 years old when this game came out. So I didn't get a copy of this till after I got my Nintendo. I got it for my birthday in 1988. But I remember before that, around the time that it came out, there was some friends of mine that lived down the street, yeah, Brian and Patrick Rouse, two brothers. And I actually, Brian was my age, but Patrick, his older brother, was a few years older than us. And I actually liked him better than Brian at the time because Brian was like, kind of the sporty kid that liked to go out in the woods and do stuff. I like to play video games and like, Star Wars and stuff. And that's what Patrick was into. Like, you went into his room and it was like, as a kid, it was like, he had like Star Wars figures everywhere, Star Trek stuff. He had like a model of the USS Enterprise like hanging from the ceiling in his room. I was like, this is awesome. And I remember him specifically. I was at their house and they had a Nintendo in the living room, and I showed up one day and he was in there playing Legend of Zelda. And I was like, up until this point, all I had seen on the Nintendo was, and I had played, at another friend's house, some Super Mario Brothers. So I really wanted a Nintendo. But man, when I saw Legend of Zelda, I was like, what is this? I had never experienced anything like this before. I was like, is this like Bomberman or something? He's like, no, it's like, told me it's like you go on this adventure and you just kind of like this big map that you explore and like you find treasure and, go in dungeons and all kind of cool stuff. And I was like, wow, that's kind of insane. So when I got my Nintendo, eventually got Legend of Zelda around like 89, I think. Played it for a while, never finished it. Then eventually got the Super Nintendo, got Link to the Past, fell in love with Zelda even more, finished Link to the Past like 2 times through. Like, I played it through twice, like in a row, because I love that game so much. Then I went back and finished the original Legend of Zelda because I loved Link to the Past so much. And it really kind of sparked my interest in stuff like Tolkien, like Lord of the Rings and stuff. And I even attempted to try and read Lord of the Rings because I would love The Hobbit as a kid. I love that old Rankin Bass cartoon from like the 70s. I had the Hobbit book that I still have it here somewhere. Things falling apart. I read it like a billion times. But I tried to read Lord of the Rings, and I think I got like 10 pages in, and I'm like, I have no idea what I just read. So I was a little too young to try and understand it. But it really did spark my interest in that kind of genre.
Yeah, and once I played the original Zelda, this was kind of the same with like Ninja Turtles and Super Mario Brothers. Anything that was related to that game or that franchise, I had to get my hands on.
Yeah.
Now, for younger listeners, it's pretty easy to go to like Walmart or Target and you find like Mario figurines
Yeah.
or like the amiibos. Back in the day, they were like near impossible to
Yeah.
get.
Nintendo didn't
So
make stuff like that back then.
no, they did. What you had to do was if you had a subscription to Nintendo Power,
Yeah.
then you got a catalog every quarter that had merchandise in it, and you could basically save up these stamps that they would put a certain number of in the magazines, and you could get like a Mario hat or you could get like a jacket or something like that. But anything Zelda related, like I had to get my hands on. I remember going to an old Walmart when I was a kid, and I found a Zelda comic book,
Hey.
and it was like I had to have it. And I
Yeah.
remember when Nintendo Power did the Link to the Past comic book, and it was based off of Link to the Past, but it added a little more story. Like there were a couple of new characters that weren't in the game, but it really kind of fleshed the story out. And Link to the Past was it was a game changer. As great as the original Zelda was, this was a game like from the first couple of minutes, you could say like this game is different. Like the opening with the storm and having to chase after your uncle, and you find him in the sewer dead, and you take up the mantle of hero.
Yeah.
And then when you get the pendants and you fight Aghanim and you get taken to the dark world, it's like, oh, this is like a whole
Yeah.
new game. So it's almost like you're playing two games in one. And then it gets exponentially harder.
Yeah.
And then when you fight, I still think Link to the Past might be my favorite Ganon boss fight of all time. Because everything, like when you drop down into the pyramid, and it's pitch black, and then he's like
Yeah.
right in front of you, and that music hits, and you're like, it's on now.
I mean, I'll still say Link to the Past is still my absolute favorite Zelda game of all time. I mean,
Same.
it still just looks so good, sounds so good. I mean, that's damn near a perfect video game. Like you can't get any better than that.
It's one of the very few games that I wouldn't change anything about it. Like if someone asks, like, "Oh, what would you add to Link to the Past?" I'm like, I'm good with it as it is.
Yeah. I mean,
Like it's got everything from there's a lot of you're gonna get your money's worth if you still buy Legend of Zelda because there's a lot of meat on the bone,
yeah.
if you will, because there's just hours and hours of gameplay. There's a lot of stuff to collect. It's got a great story. I mean, a lot of the Zelda games have great stories, but
Yeah.
Link to the Past is up there for me.
And Rampage he said he owned a Minish Cap, but his Game Boy got knocked over and died. But yeah,
Oh,
I
jeez.
just played Minish Cap and reviewed it a few years ago, and that game really harkened back to the Link to the Past style gameplay and look for that game. And man, I loved Minish Cap, and I still haven't played the four. What's that? Or the Four Swords or what's it
Four
called?
Swords.
Yeah, I still haven't played that yet. I really want to play that one.
Yeah, Four Swords. So there's two different ones. There's Four Swords for the Game Boy, and then there was a GameCube game called Four Swords Adventures that was a
Yeah.
multiplayer,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of fun because that I was in high school when that came out, and a couple of my friends who were also Zelda fans, we would get together and we played through that game. Like you can do it in single player, but it's so much more fun if you get three other people and you each have your own Link.
That's cool.
It can be chaos, but the fun kind.
And and thinking back to another great Zelda memory was getting Wind Waker because of all the it was so controversial at the time for the way it looked. And I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to get it and play it. And I got it. And even at first, I played the first, couple hour of the game and I still wasn't sold on it because I wasn't sure about that art style. But man, did that turn out to be one of the greatest gaming experiences. Like I have dreams about that game. Just wanting to just wish I could go back and play it again, like right now.
Yeah, that's the game I'd love to play again for the first time. And it's funny you mentioned that because years ago when the GameCube was being demoed, one of the big demos was a sword fight between Link and Ganondorf. And the game for the time looked kind of dark and more realistic looking. And it looked great for the time.
Yeah.
And then a year later, they do the Wind Waker demo where it's just completely different.
Yeah.
And yet, that was one of the first like internet uproar moments that I remember. And there was a guy I was friends with in high school. His name was Andrew. And we would always run into each other between second and third period. After that demo was released, he like briskly walked right up to me and he said, "The new Zelda is gonna suck." And he just ripped it
Wow.
a new one. And I'm like, well, let's wait and see. But I love Wind Waker. It's one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. And it it has the best story twist of any of the Zelda games, in my opinion, because you'd think like the settings, and the game's been out for forever, so
spoil
I'm gonna
away.
spoil it. So it's the sea setting was kind of interesting because you're like, okay, maybe something happened to Hyrule, or they're just trying something different. Who knows? And then when you get brought under the sea and you see Hyrule Castle and that Hyrule theme kicks in, you're just like, oh
Oh.
my God.
And the thing
I,
is
I, my jaw dropped when that happened.
with as good as Wind Waker was, it was kind of because Wind Waker was so good. It's like when Twilight Princess came out, I was so like, oh, Wind Waker was so good. I can't wait for Twilight Princess. And that was, of course, the last game they put out for the GameCube. And I hadn't bought a Wii yet. So I asked at the time, my girlfriend got me Twilight Princess for the GameCube for that Christmas. And I was so excited because that was all I asked for that Christmas. Was like, I just want Twilight Princess. That's all I want. Just give me that. I'm good. Got it. I was so excited to play it because Wind Waker was so good. And then I got about 30 minutes into Twilight Princess. And I'm like, this is not good. And I know there's some Twilight Princess, people out there that love that game. And it was not for me. There was just, I don't know what it was about Twilight Princess, but that game just did not capture me at all.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of like, this is what y'all asked for.
Yeah.
People were complaining about the Wind Waker look and style.
Yep.
And Twilight Princess has its moments, and I give them credit for trying something different, like with Link turning into a wolf and all of that.
I
But
could barely get past the part at the beginning when you're trying to do the whole like archery thing on the back of the horse. I'm just like, oh, I hate this. I do not like this at all.
the game as a whole, kind of boring, if I'm being honest. Like the story's not
Yeah.
really that interesting. Like the stuff with Ganondorf is good, but other than that, and I will say what's interesting is that, and I'm sure we'll get into more of this later, but when Nintendo tried to make the timeline of how all the Zelda games fall, how much do you know about that?
About what now? Sorry, sorry. I looked in the chat room and Nick did bring up a good point. He said the thing about Twilight Princess is it takes 1 billion hours to get through the tutorial, and I think that's what killed me. The tutorial of it was way too long.
So to give you kind of the Reader's Digest version, the Nintendo tried to explain how all the Zelda games fit together.
Yeah.
So with Ocarina of Time, it splits into 3 different timelines depending on the outcome of the battle with Ganon.
Yeah.
In the timeline, I think they call it the adult timeline, where it's like that version of Hyrule continues even after Link travels back in time, and that's when Wind Waker happens.
Mm-hmm.
When Link is sent back to live out his childhood, he warns the King of Hyrule about Ganondorf, and that's when like he gets imprisoned and everything, and that's when Twilight Princess happens.
Yeah.
Those branch stories make Ganondorf actually a very interesting character. Because I remember in Wind Waker specifically, right before you fight him, and he's kind of standing at the top of his castle, and he's talking about how much he coveted the coolness of the wind because he grew up in the desert, and he's like, that was really what I coveted the most. So in a way, it kind of humanizes Ganondorf a little bit.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that.
And the thing about trying to people that try to explain, the Zelda timelines and all that stuff, the way I look at it is like this. It's basically just legends, the stories that are told. It's like the Mad Max universe. People always like try to say, well, like, what doesn't really match with the original Mad Max and like Road Warrior. Like, how did it go from, the first movie to Fury Road? Like, It's because the story, the legend of Mad Max is being told in the like far distant future. It's the same thing with Zelda. None of it has to match. It's all just it's legends that are passed down through the years, and they don't all have to match up. And I'm fine with that. I don't have to have one long timeline that makes sense. It doesn't need to make sense, really. I mean, look at Final Fantasy. None of that matches up. So why does Zelda? At least I can follow Zelda.
Yeah, and I give them credit at least for trying. Like there are some holes in the branch timeline that they've created, but in a way, some of it makes sense. Like, when Skyward Sword came out for the Wii, that's chronologically the game that starts the whole legend.
Yeah.
Because it's the first iteration of Link and Zelda. You learn more about like ancient, you see the foundation of Hyrule, essentially, and what will become Ganondorf or Ganon. So I dug Skyward Sword. It was a little too short for my liking. Like there's only 3 dungeons you go through.
Yeah.
And then there's like a big moment that happens in the game, and then you have to go back through the 3 dungeons again. And I wasn't really a fan of that, but I'm not a Skyward Sword hater by any stretch.
But before we go into some the listener stuff, emails and voicemails and stuff, I just do want to say, Derek, you had gifted me. Was it Tears of the Kingdom that you had gifted me a few years ago when it came out? And then, dude, that was one of the greatest presents ever because that game was so good. I just have to say, just Breath of the Wild into Tears of the Kingdom were two. Those games are triumphs of video gaming because. And I don't know which one I like better. I mean, I love both of those games so much. I love the whole, the upside down in Tears of the Kingdom and just the twist of that game.
You can't tell me that wasn't influenced by Stranger Things.
I spent so many hours in that game just exploring. There was nowhere you could go in that map where you wouldn't run across something to do. There were no dead spots on that map anywhere.
No, and I will say for Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time as well, it had 2 of my favorite personal Zelda moments. So playing through the original Zelda and Link to the Past was great. I love both those games. But then when Ocarina of Time came out, once you beat the first dungeon and you go out into what was at the time the vast open Hyrule field, it gave me goosebumps doing that. Because I followed that game on IGN because it was, funny enough, it was the first game that IGN ever rated a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then years later with Breath of the Wild, when you walk out onto that plateau and you see how big Hyrule is, and I'm just like, man, this is what I've waited my whole life for it.
And it's such a cool game because when you start that and you just, it doesn't matter where you go. It's like, where do I go? It doesn't matter. Just pick a direction and go, and you'll run across something, and your game starts from that point on. It was beautiful. That game was just gorgeous.
Yeah, and Tears of the Kingdom was even better.
Oh, so good.
I like the story for Tears of the Kingdom a bit better. I was a little disappointed with them making Ganondorf a little too one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But
he was a little too hard, too. I mean, it took me forever to beat him in that game.
When you fight him as his Demon King iteration and you see his health bar replenish and then go across the rest of the screen, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Man.
But it's such a good game, though.
Yeah, it was really good. And but yeah, we're running a little short on time now, so we'll go ahead and go into we'll start off with some emails. And up first, we have Nick, the horror game fan. He says, "Hi, Derek. Hi, Jason. Hope you guys both had a great weekend." Yes, I did. Says, "My Zelda memories. The first time I had ever played Zelda was back in 1996 My grandparents took my cousins and I to Disney World for vacation. I remember at the hotel we were staying in had a SNES there. I decided to play A Link to the Past for a bit. That was my first time ever playing Zelda. However, I never got the game. The first Zelda game I ever got was Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Another Zelda memory I have is playing through Ocarina of Time for the first time ever back in 2002.
Link's Awakening was so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That game flew so much under the radar. But yeah, that's cool. I remember when different places like Sears or different stores would have, like, not just Walmart or Target, but the most random places would have like a Nintendo or a
Yeah.
Super Nintendo for you to play.
Dude, I used to go.
So no, that's
I used
cool.
to go to the Toys R Us all the time, and they had a, they had Nintendo there, Super
Toys R Us,
Nintendo.
king
Yeah,
of that.
they had a The only time I ever played TurboGrafx 16, and at that time was at Toys R Us.
I miss Toys R Us. Okay, so going through another email, I guess we'll go from the bottom
Yeah, we'll just
and then
go
go back
bottom
up to
up.
the most
Yeah.
recent. All right, so this is okay. That was from Nick.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from JH.
This is
Hi,
is
Jason
Halam
and Derek.
Akbar. This is the Dark Link
Halam
Slayer.
Akbar. Okay, sweet. Okay, shout out to Halam Akbar. Hi, Jason and Derek. The very first memory of playing a video game I have is playing Zelda 1. I remember walking around the overworld, having no clue what I was doing, and finding level 1 and getting so excited. I was 4 at the time and didn't actually beat the game until I was in middle school. My favorite Zelda memory is playing Zelda 2 with my little brother. Spoilers ahead for anybody wanting to tackle this gem of a game. In elementary school, we took turns playing, and we played all the way up to a point where you need the magic key. We figured there was a magic key since we had seen it in Zelda 1 on our mom's save file, but we could not find it. We backtracked through the whole world and still nothing. We deleted the game and started over, figuring we missed something. We got to a locked door we couldn't pass and did it again. And then again. On our 4th playthrough, I walked to the dead end of the latest town and just started casting spells starting from the top of the list. I'd refill my magic when I needed or went off screen when I couldn't do anything as a fairy. Just trying to figure something out, anything. I cast the spell, how I always called it, and to my surprise, the floor moved upwards and revealed a giant hidden door. I dropped the controller and sprinted out to my backyard to tell my brother I found something new with tears of excitement in my eyes. I went in the door and finally found the magic key. It then clicked. A hint in town is to remember the spell. This was one of the first NES games we beat. In fact, since we spent so much time on this game, it doesn't even seem that hard to me. And I was flabbergasted when I started watching video game content on YouTube and saw Zelda 2 ranked as one of the hardest games time after time. I even texted my brother to see if he thought it was as hard as other people were saying. He didn't. I only had one friend at the time that was into video games, and he had a Sega and then an N64. That was probably 1997, so the N64 had already launched. So my brother and I had nobody to talk to about Zelda 2. We didn't have Nintendo Power, and I doubt they were writing about the NES in those days. It's my proudest gaming moment to have beat Zelda 2 without any help at all. I want the epitaph on my tombstone to read, "He remembered the spell." Halam Akbar, the Dark Link Slayer. Well, props to you, because I'm one of those people that says that game it's hard. I would not have been able to beat it without save states.
Yeah.
So
no way.
Props to you.
Next
We're
up,
going to call Halam Akbar the real Zelda fanatic of Nerd Cave Retro.
Up next, we have Nate, which I think is Axblade07. Let's see. It says, my fondest memories of playing the original Zelda game on NES was spending time playing the game with my brother late into the night. He was 4 years older than me, so I would beat the controls more often, and I would help with support. Keeping track of where to go next through the dungeons or finding patterns to the bosses to give strategy tips to him. Really great bonding time between us. That carried on in future Zelda iterations, as well as A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. Played a lot of the N64 games with my little nephew at that time as well. We, of course, were adults married. We are, of course, adults married and living far away from each other by the time the Wii U, and Switch Zelda titles came out, so those were solo experiences for myself. While I have fond memories of those solo experiences as well, I still reminisce from time to time about those times hanging out with my bro in front of the old tube TV late at night, wrecking our eyes, not caring, and getting lost in the world of Zelda. Oh, and also a little side story. I've mentioned in comments on the live show in the past, I worked at Nintendo's at the distribution warehouse in North Bend, Washington back in the fall of 1998 when Ocarina was just launching and had the special edition N64 as well. That was pretty cool having a small stint temp holiday season job working there and getting an inside look at how distribution side of Nintendo worked a little bit. That's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We have some amazing listeners. We love you guys. You always got good
That
stuff
we
to
do.
say.
Let's see. From a Peacola Asian, aka the Emerald Coast Fact Checker, our good friend Mr. Brandon Rutledge. Emerald Coast Fact Checker is checking in. I've never been a big Zelda fan, but I've always respected the franchise, minus the CDI games.
We don't count those.
No, A Link to the Past will always be remembered. Will always be one of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. So many good things about it, from the story to the bosses to the tools and more. I recently started playing it again, and I'm currently in the Eastern Palace. I've also had fun watching my wife play Breath of the Wild. She put so many hours into that game, only second behind Minecraft. For me, I am the worst cook ever. That is one of the most fun things about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. No Zelda character was my main, but I've always enjoyed playing as Link in Smash. Also love playing as him in Soul Calibur 2. I had too much fun beating people up with the bug catching net. Happy anniversary to the Zelda franchise.
And let's see. Next we have Tyler, the fact checker. To the fact checker, Dymo. What is it? 22 in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, so it's a miracle that I enjoy the Zelda series as much as I do. My first exposure to it were Zelda 2 at a cousin's house, and then the animated series. So you saw 2 in the animated series first before the original. It's a wonder you like you. God, that would have ruined me for the Zelda series if I had those first.
That is a miracle.
I know. He says that was around 1990 or so. I didn't interact with it again until around 98 when I was able to play both Link's Awakening and A Link to the Past. That 1-2 punch cemented my fandom. My first playthrough of A Link to the Past had me constantly listening to Jimi Hendrix's Greatest Hits album, so much so that the two are now fully integrated with each other. I also got the GBA release of A Link to the Past and played the Four Swords content with a friend in high school, so that was fun. We never actually finished it. I wound up skipping every other entry after Ocarina until Breath of the Wild, except for A Link Between Worlds on 3DS, just by sheer accident. Finally, the ending of Tears of the Kingdom made me tear up, and I liked it more than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that ending for Tears of the Kingdom was so good.
I'm not going to spoil that because that's, since that's the newest one. So.
Yeah, you gotta experience that for yourself.
And we do have a couple of voicemails we're going to play. Let me bring this up here. First we have good old Justin Nispel with his audio message, and I'm going to play it right here.
Hi, everyone. This is Justin Nispel. Just wanted to share one of my favorite Zelda moments, and that is probably when I was playing Ocarina of Time back in the day before YouTube was around, and I was trying to find everything. Hearts, bombs, all that kind of stuff. Couldn't find it ever on my own. So I would get somebody to drive me out to the mall, and I'd go to a GameStop, and I didn't have enough money to buy the actual walkthrough books. So I would sit there and try to absorb as much information out of the books as I could, standing there reading them. And then I'd go home rushing through the game, trying to find everything before I forgot where it was. Just thought I'd share that. Thank you.
I used to do the same thing when I didn't have the money for like some of the walkthrough books. I would just go to the bookstore because back in the day, our parents would just we'd go to the mall and my parents would just let me go hang out in the bookstore for like hours until they were done shopping. So I would just sit in there and read like all the magazines and walk through books and stuff. So that's what I would do as well.
As a lost art.
I know. Another one here, we have James Ottoman, the Siram 11590, who is one of our newest patrons. Let's see. His is right here.
Hi, Cyram here, or Jam the Ottoman, or James, or whatever. Just wanted to share some of my favorite Legend of Zelda memories really quick. These are going to be kind of weird because it's mostly about lost save data. So for this is going to be about 3 games. But Legend of Zelda, first off, that game, every time we turn off our console, the saves would be erased. Played it for years, like my sisters, my dad, my mom, like we would play it, and every time we turned off the console, everything was gone. We got really good at knowing where all the secrets were, but that's only because we played it a bunch of times. Did not realize until much later, though, that you're supposed to hold reset when you turn off your NES console, and it even tells you this in the menu. And when I later tried that, like when I was like 10, so like this is the year 2000, totally saved it. Did the rest of my family do that? No. So lost my save data anyway. This could even be like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But either way, as for Link to the Past, which is my favorite Legend of Zelda game, similar thing. Our battery pack on that game was completely dead. Every time we turned off that console, gone.
Wow.
But I played the crap out of it. I mean, like dozens of times. I am so familiar with that game right before you go to the Dark World that I just by instinct can find like every secret before going there. Although oddly enough, in one of my numerous attempts, I somehow got to the Dark World without getting the mirror, and so was stuck in the bunny form. I didn't realize you could do that, and I don't know if there was a way to fix it, but it's not like it matters anyway. I lost that save data. But it was always like a tragedy, just hoping that your save data was going to be there the next time, and it's not. And I have tried to play this game numerous times since then, but for some reason, once I get pretty far into the Dark World, just lose interest and go off for a little bit, come back, start again. So not really much of a difference. And then last one. This is going to be for Twilight Princess. Played this one on the Wii on my sister's console when I would like babysit for her when I was like 15 or 16. And I got to the last dungeon of this game. And for some reason, this is around the same time my sister thought it would be a good idea to mess with some settings on her Wii. And then she reformatted the hard drive on it and erased all of the save data. So everything that I would have had, or my progress for the end of the game, gone.
Oh, wow.
Tried to play it again when it came out or was re-released in the Wii U. Got it a little ways into it, and then my Wii U stopped being able to read discs. So stopped after that. Maybe I'll beat all those games someday. Legend of Zelda 2 on the NES could say fine, but nobody wanted to play that one. So, yay. Other than that, those are my memories. They're still great. But have a good day.
Man, that was harrowing. Like, how many Zelda games do you got to play that just keep getting wrecked on your save file? Like, that just makes me hurt thinking about it.
Yeah. And I would, if I had any siblings and they reformatted the hard drive on the Wii, I'd be like, you were not allowed to play video games ever again.
Dude, I literally still have my original save file on the Link to the Past SNES cartridge. Like the very first playthrough I ever did, that save state is still there to this day.
Oh, that's so cool.
But that brings us to the end, everybody, of our 40-year celebration anniversary of Legend of Zelda. So we hope you enjoyed that. I love talking Legend of Zelda. And
same.
Man, like just 40 years, dude. 40 years.
Yep. This, if anybody's curious, February 21st, which is this Saturday, if you're listening to this the day it drops, is the actual 40-year anniversary. If Nintendo doesn't put out anything about the movie, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Something.
If it's not the movie, like they got to do something. Like this is their second biggest franchise.
A teaser. They don't even have to show us anything. Just give us the music the Triforce and Legend of Zelda coming, summer 2027 or when it's supposed to come out. That's all I need. That's it. Just give me that. I'll be excited.
Yeah, or in some kind of game announcement.
Yeah.
They got to do something for it. They have to.
Why is Nintendo so bad at celebrating anniversaries, man? They're just bad at it.
They didn't even really do anything that great with the Mario anniversary.
I mean, it's Legend of Zelda. It's one of the greatest game franchises of all time. Do something, Nintendo. We deserve it because we've given you so much money over the years.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
But no, this was fun. This was fun. Like I always enjoy talking Zelda, so I've been looking forward to this ever since this was what we decided to do.
But if there's anything that we missed, if you guys still want to send us any voicemails or anything like that, go to voicecast.app/NCR. You leave the voice message. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just leave it, and that's it. That's all you got to do. And you can email us nerdcaveretro@gmail.com if you got anything you want us to talk about. If you got any news articles for us, and go join the Patreon, all that good stuff. And Derek, tell everybody, before we get out of here, what's going on with the new podcast.
So Coastline Crimes, which is a podcast that my wife and I will be starting, where we discuss true crime stories from the Gulf Coast. It'll be launching in early March, but we do have our social media pages up on Facebook and Instagram at Coastline Crimes. We should be putting out some more information in the coming days.
Awesome. And go read that article on Rolling Stone and go share it with your friends so more people read it because it's going worldwide, baby. He texted me this morning. He's like, man, it's got picked up in India, Germany, like all kind of places around in New Zealand. I was like, wow, my name is worldwide right now, baby.
Forget Pitbull. You're the real Mr. Worldwide.
That's right. But that's about it. I don't have anything else to throw out there. I got Arsa's got a new song coming out. It's being mixed and mastered as we speak, so it should be coming out maybe next week, maybe the week after. I'll let you guys know when to go download it, listen to it, and all that good stuff. But for now, if you want to email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. Leave us a voice message at voicecast.app/NCR. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just leave a message. That's all there is to it. nerdcaveretro.com. That's our link tree that takes you everywhere. All the social medias, the Patreon, the Voicecast, and the merch shop, which is ncrmerch.com. We got all kind of designs over there for t-shirts, hats, stickers, magnets, bags, mugs, whatever your nerdy heart desires. And look, I get it. Times are tough. If you can't afford the Patreon, like I get it. If you can't afford a t-shirt, I get it. You know what's free? Leaving us a review and or a 5-star rating on all those podcasting platforms because it helps us out and puts us in front of more people. So Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
Yes.
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
And that's an episode, everybody. Well, that was a fun one, man. Dude, that flew by.
I love that. It did, yeah.
I know all of a sudden I looked up, it was like 10-7. I was like, oh, crap. We still got like emails and voicemails. But yeah, that was fun. I really love talking Zelda.
Same. We should do this for Metroid since Metroid's turning 40 later this year.
Absolutely. When is Metroid's actual anniversary? Let's look that up.
Let's see. Release date. August 6th, 1986.
Okay, so we got a few months. That'll be our Metroid month. It'll be August, and we'll celebrate Metroid in August of this year.
Love it.
So get all your Metroid stories ready, everybody, because that'll be coming up in like 6 months, 7 months. I don't know. I don't even know what month we're in now. But thanks you all for
AKA, it'll be here in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's going by too fast. But thank you all for hanging out with us. Let me put up our outro thing here. Thank you all for hanging out with us, and we'll see you right here next week. Same bat time.